So, welcome to 12 Apostle Helicopters. My name's Andrew, I'll be taking you up today. It's a beautiful day up there already. Now, our internal camera is this one. That's you guys there. Hello. Now, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll make our way off to London Bridge here. I'll just wind it up and we'll make our departure. Put on the tail camera for takeoff. And away we go. So we'll make our way up here now. As we cross the coast, we're flying right next to the rim of Horseshoe Cove down here, which as you can see is a narrow cliff line, Horseshoe Cove. It's a little cliff-lined opening in the cliff there with a beach and a little cave at the back, and it's one of the sites we do see penguins along the coast here.
Penguin?
Yeah, fairy penguins.
During winter?
Yep. Now the rock down here is pretty much the tallest rock that we'll see along the coast. Stands about 75 metres high. It's called Sentinel Rock. And you can see on the back of the cliffs there, you can see the Great Ocean Road running along. Those cars there give you a fair idea just how big these cliffs are. 70 to 75 metres or so back here near Sentinel Rock, and they grade down as we make our way across to Port Campbell. Port Campbell is one of our little coastal towns that sits right along the Great Ocean Road. It's a pretty amazing spot. I guess it gets pretty busy whenever there's a sort of a long weekend or the summer months, because we do get a lot of good weather down here. Today is by far the best weather we've had in the last 3 days, that is for sure. Have you guys been down here the last couple of days, or?
Yeah. We're staying at Port Campbell.
Ah, okay. Well, that's where you're staying, just in here then.
Pretty close.
Now you can see where the waves are breaking here along the edges of the reef. The reef lines up on either side of the opening to port. You'll see the beach in there with the little jetty. You'll probably see a better angle when we come back. On the far side of the port here, you'll see these waves breaking, and there's actually some surfers out here this morning. The wave is actually called 2 Mile, and it's one of the big wave spots. It's probably 3 or 4 metres high, this wave. See, they're on some really big boards. The big waves rolling in. It was a lot bigger yesterday. The swell was upwards of the 4 metre mark, but the conditions seem to be a whole lot better today. Now, right at the end of 2 Mile Bay, you can see the stone archway. We're actually going to fly right up past that. Along the bases of the cliffs here, as we come through, you can see the rockfall areas. The ocean is very powerful here, and it undercuts the cliffs, and eventually the overhanging sections shear off, which is how the walls of the cliffs here stay so vertical. The archway, was just getting a bit of sun on it now, is about 15 metres high, and it is solely created by the erosion of the coast. The rocks there in the bottom are about the size of the cabin of this aircraft. So if we were landed down in the base there, the rocks had probably come up to about the height of the cabin here. As we come around Point Hess, if you have a look right in the tip, you'll see a set of stairs that's been carved in there. See those?
Yeah.
So they were made by fishermen back in the early 1900s, so they could get down to those lower spots to go fishing. This is London Bridge here, and you'll see the water shining below the archway. It used to be a double archway that they say resembled parts of London Bridge because of the sort of shallow arches.
Which one is London Bridge?
Just there, that's what we just passed.
Okay.
We'll come back past it in a second. Now up ahead is the town of Peterborough, beyond it the rocks of the Bay of Islands. We're going to climb up and have another look at London Bridge here. We'll make our way up and around here. Got you guys on the internal camera. How are you going? Okay?
Turns are really scary.
They're scary for you. I guess it's the way we've got to turn. There's no other way without just continuing on forever. It'll almost be over.
Or maybe it's because I'm sitting in the front, you know, there's...
Yeah, you got the big windows. So as we come back around, so London Bridge across here, you can see the water shining below the arch there now. And it used to have the other archway that connected it to the mainland, and that was at the tip closest to the beach there. Back in 1990, that section fell away. Used to be able to walk out onto that part, and when the bridge fell down, 2 people had done so on the day, and they spent 4.5 hours out there because that section fell away, and then they were rescued by helicopter. Very lucky. You can't walk out there anymore. You can see the sort of 2 different colours. It's a little bit hard to see because of the sun glare, but there's sort of some different colours in the water here. When the swell's quite big, it stirs up a lot of sand and debris in the water along the coast, and then the currents will drag that sandy water out into the sea, which is what gives us these sort of bright blue or bright green colours against the darker blue of the deeper water. What's that?
So how many apostles are remaining?
Officially there's only 8 still standing. But I will count them out when we get down there, that way you'll be able to see. The last one that fell down was in 2005, and we can still see the rocks of it on the beach. The other 3 that fell down a long time ago, the base of them is still there. Looking straight into Port Campbell, you can see the jetty there. That's where the local fishing boats get put in and out of the water. That tower you can see on the end of it is a crane. Now on the top of the cliff you can see where that car's parked. That was the original Great Ocean Road. It used to run right down the cliff edge around the point and into town. But back in the mid-1990s, where the cliffs are eroded heavily at the tip there, that's what closed that section of the Great Ocean Road. So now it just goes into town on that street further back. We come back by Sentinel Rock. If you have a look at the coloured bands on Sentinel Rock, they match back to the cliffs. That's because at some stage this rock and the Apostle Rocks, they were part of this coastline. It's the erosion of the coast from the waves and wind and rain that eats away at it. And these rock stacks that get left behind, the base of them is a very hard or dense section, and it erodes more slowly. So the coast disappears around them and they stand tall. They are still eroding, which is why they do fall down. And in the next, few million years, there might not be any of the actual apostles left. But at the same time, there'll be new rock stacks coming out of the cliffs. Maybe. I guess we don't really know.
We are lucky enough to see all these.
Exactly. So you can just see the Apostle Rocks coming into view down ahead. Some nice sort of sea mist this morning, makes it look really...
Colour is really amazing.
Yeah, the colour in the water here, it'll be even better on the way back because we'll have the sun sort of behind us. That's the Sherbrooke River just off to the left. Not actually flowing because we haven't had much rain over the last few months, just in the last couple of days, just for Easter. The island down here is Muttonbird Island, and it's from up here it's actually shaped like a seahorse. See the shape of it there?
Yeah.
Behind it there is Lockhart, what's now called Lockhart Gorge, where that sandy beach is. Lockhart was a ship that ran into Muttonbird Island back in 1878. Very famous because the only 2 survivors were washed up onto that beach, and that's why that gorge there is named Lockhart Gorge.
I think we have to go there.
Yeah, you can actually go down onto the beach there. I was saying to the other guys, there's a cave down there that you can go and have a look at. Now these are the apostles, they start here. The first one's the big thick one. Behind it in the cove you'll see the second one, it's a lot shorter. These 2 here, 3 and 4, they fell down a long time ago.
Oh.
The number 5 is the tall pointed one here. Then we have number 6, that little dark patch just in the water there, the flat section, fell down a long time ago. And 7, just down here. 7, 8, 9, 10, the little short stack. Then 11 is the pile of rocks there, which fell down in 2005. That was the most recent one. And 12, the big one on this side of the lookout. The 2 on the other side here, they're not actually included in the apostles. They're referred to as Gog and Magog. Equally as impressive. And you can actually get down onto this beach via Gibson steps below the car park. We'll see them on the way down and around. So we're going to go down to 500 feet here now and come along the front of the Apostles.
Port Campbell traffic, helicopter Zulu Victor Charlie east and the Apostles, 750 descending to 500, turning to track west over the water. Port Campbell.
We'll make our way down and around here. Is it less scary now that you know that what we're doing? So as we come down to 500 feet, we'll level out, and this is all the Apostle Rocks, as well as Gog and Magog, lined up along the coast here. See some of that colour in the water out to the left. Now, over on the cliff, you can see Gibson Steps, which is how you can get down onto the beach here. And these...
Copy that, Zulu Victor Charlie.
So you can see now the Apostle that fell down, that pile of rocks just down here. It used to be a lot bigger than that before it fell, but since falling you see another aircraft is coming around behind us. He's actually doing some cricket spraying in the paddock over here.
Oh.
So they're spraying for crickets. Now you got the dark little base down here and the other two up ahead, which are the other three that fell down a long time ago. And they fell down sometime before the 1950s, and they were not actually standing when the Apostle's name was finally branded on the area. You can see the Apostle rocks, you can see all the layers of rocks in them that look very similar to the coast. Like I said, that's where they came from. The Apostles finished there again. These three rocks, we have the two sisters with the salt and pepper shakers behind them. The sisters were named because they looked very similar, but the one on the right, her head fell off. That was just a few years ago, so she's different now.
That looks like a salt and pepper box.
Yeah, doesn't it? As we come back towards Lockhart Gorge, that little archway at the front there is right at the tip of Lockhart Gorge, and it used to be part of Elephant Rock. It had another arch at the front with a hole in the top which looked like the elephant's trunk with his eye. You'll see some of the viewing platforms on top of the cliffs also. And there's a whole series of walking trails you can take out to Thunder Caves here, the Blowhole, over to the river mouth. It's a really nice spot down there. If you haven't been, definitely go and have a look. See some people down on the walking trails there. And right out on the front of the rock platforms there at Sherbrooke River. The rock over here with the hole in the base, they call it the baker's oven. They say that looks like some form of wood fire oven. I didn't name it, that's the official word. Yeah. Now up ahead you can see Sentinel Rock again. We're going to be crossing the coast here now back towards our heliport.
Port Campbell traffic, helicopter Zulu Victor Charlie, Baker's up 500 feet, crossing the coast, descending to the Port Campbell heliport. Port Campbell.
As the cliff lines make their way back past us, we're going to head into our heliport here. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight.
Charlie inbound, Port Campbell traffic.
We'll land way up the back on the pad here. That's us on the ground. So, thank you very much for flying with us. I hope you enjoyed the trip. You guys can release your seatbelts, your headsets go up on the hooks up here, and the guys will open your doors. Thank you. Just up there. Thanks, mate.